Leeds United have made headlines again, and this time it's not just for their performances on the pitch, but for some major updates involving their tactical evolution, financial settlements, and transfer speculations that are starting to heat up. The season is rolling on, and while the early months have sparked some concerns over creativity in the final third, Leeds are beginning to turn heads with how they're approaching goal creation, especially through an aggressive and intelligent press. Daniel Farke has been quite vocal since taking charge, repeatedly highlighting that Leeds don't necessarily have players with that individual spark who can win a game out of nothing. So instead of relying on moments of magic, the focus has shifted to a structured system that forces mistakes and creates chances through relentless energy and organization. And here's the kicker, this isn't just talk. Statistically, Leeds are backing it up. A recent breakdown in the Yorkshire Evening Post dove into one of the most underappreciated metrics in football right now: shot-creating actions, or SCAs. For those unfamiliar, SCAs are defined as the two key movements or plays that directly lead to a shot. It could be a pass, a dribble, a tackle, anything that puts a team in position to pull the trigger. And when you dive into the numbers, Leeds are right at the top of the Premier League in one specific and surprising area: SCAs generated from defensive actions. Players like Dan James, Willie Gnonto, and Noah Okafor have been instrumental in this. Okafor's goal from the weekend, for example, wasn't just a moment of brilliance. It was the result of textbook pressing, with Anton Stock intercepting a pass high up the pitch and immediately releasing Okafor into a shooting opportunity. That play alone counted for 2 SCAs, one for the interception, one for the assist. Leeds have managed to produce 6 SCAs from defensive actions this season, a stat no other Premier League team can match right now. Bournemouth come close with 5, but that's still second best to Leeds. And it tells a bigger story about how Leeds are defending. They're not waiting for danger to come to them. They're going hunting for the ball in the opposition's half, and it's paying dividends. This adds an extra layer of intrigue ahead of Leeds' upcoming clash with Bournemouth. Both teams have adopted a similar philosophy when it comes to pressing from the front, but Leeds appear to be executing it more effectively. It sets up a tactical battle where we'll likely see high energy, quick transitions, and possibly goals that are born not from intricate build-up play, but from sheer work rate and pressure. Leeds have looked far more dangerous when pressing aggressively compared to when they sit back and try to absorb pressure, so expect Farke to stick to his guns, especially at home at Elland Road. That pressing system will be even more vital as they prepare to take on not just Bournemouth, but also Tottenham Hotspur in the weeks ahead. These games could further highlight just how central this strategy has become for Leeds, especially given the lack of pure playmakers in the squad. The system is the star right now, and it's giving players like Stock and Okafor a platform to thrive by doing the dirty work high up the pitch. Switching gears a bit, let's talk about one of the more significant off-pitch developments. Leeds United and Everton have finally reached a settlement over a long-standing PSR compensation dispute that dates back to the 2021 to 2022 Premier League season. That year, Everton avoided relegation by the skin of their teeth, while Leeds barely survived as well. However, it later emerged that Everton had breached the Premier League's profit and sustainability rules during that same season. What followed was a drawn-out saga involving formal complaints, legal challenges, and a lot of frustration for the clubs that felt cheated by the lack of immediate consequences. Everton were eventually hit with a points deduction in 2023 for their overspending, but by then the damage had already been done. Leeds, along with Burnley and Leicester City, argued that Everton's financial misconduct not only undermined the integrity of the competition, but potentially changed the trajectory of their own seasons, both in terms of league placement and financial outcomes. So Leeds, feeling the effects of those violations, took legal action in hopes of being compensated for the fallout. Well, that chapter has finally closed, at least for Leeds. The club has reached a confidential financial settlement with Everton, bringing an end to their involvement in the legal battle. Burnley and Leicester's cases are still ongoing, but Leeds have opted to move on. Their argument throughout was clear: retroactive punishments don't undo real-time damage. If Everton had followed the rules, the relegation picture could have looked very different that year, and the clubs fighting to survive might have had a fairer shot. While the details of the settlement haven't been disclosed, The agreement suggests that Everton have at least acknowledged some level of responsibility for their rule-breaking and the knock-on effect it caused. This could set a precedent for how financial breaches are handled moving forward. The idea that financial misconduct can ripple out and affect other clubs, not just in terms of results, but in real, monetary terms, might make teams think twice before bending the rules. Leeds can now put that behind them. And although they've closed that door, the broader conversation about financial fairness in the Premier League is far from over. And speaking of fairness and financial control, let's talk about the latest vote on new financial regulations in the Premier League, which, no surprise here, ended in deadlock. The proposal was centered around introducing a new financial model that mirrors UEFA's squad cost ratio system. Essentially, this model would limit spending on wages, transfer fees, and agent commissions to 80% of a club's revenue. That's the first pillar of the plan. The second part, and the most controversial, was the idea of anchoring, which would cap total spending at around 5 times the income of the lowest-earning club in the division. Smaller clubs welcomed this model with open arms, seeing it as a chance to restore competitive balance and prevent financial giants from pulling further away. But predictably, the bigger clubs were not on board. For them, the anchoring clause was seen as a direct restriction on their financial freedom, and without their support, the proposal couldn't pass. So for now, the current PSR rules remain in place, and the Premier League has kicked the can down the road once again. League executives are expected to revisit the topic in future meetings, but if clubs can't agree on a way to police themselves, the looming presence of an independent football regulator could become a reality. It's a classic case of self-interest getting in the way of structural reform. And while all that was unfolding behind closed doors, on the pitch and in the dressing room, there's more to talk about, especially when it comes to the squad. One of the quiet leaders in this Leeds team, Pascal Struijk, has opened up about his summer and the transfer speculation that surrounded him. He's now in his 7th year at the club and has started this campaign strong. So much so that summer signing Joe Rodon has yet to make a Premier League start. Speaking to BBC Radio Leeds, Struijk admitted that there were inquiries about his availability over the summer, but he made it clear he never considered leaving the club. He said that playing in the Premier League with Leeds was something he had done before and wanted to experience again. From a PSR standpoint, moving on players like Struijk, Alon Meslier, or Rasmus Christensen could have brought in significant funds, but Leeds chose to stick with the core of last season's squad. That decision seems to be paying off. Struijk has not only been solid defensively, but also crucial in helping Leeds build from the back, especially on the left side. His occasional lapses in positioning have been rare this season, and overall, he's been a key component in FARKE's setup. With his current deal running through to the summer of 2027, we can expect contract talks or transfer speculation to ramp up again by December. Depending on which division Leeds are in next season, a new contract extension might be on the table, or, if financial needs arise, perhaps even a sale. But for now, the club seems keen to hold on to a player who embodies their philosophy both on and off the pitch. Transfer season may still be a couple of months away, but make no mistake, Leeds United are already laying the groundwork for what could be a crucial January window. With more than 10 games to play before the window even opens, the rumor mill is starting to churn, and the early signals suggest that Leeds are planning at least one addition to the squad. One of the names making the rounds right now is Harry Wilson, currently at Fulham, and while it's still early days, there's definitely something to keep an eye on here. Wilson's contract with Fulham is set to expire at the end of the season, which naturally puts him on the radar for clubs looking for a low-cost or even free transfer. Reports claim that Fulham are now pushing to offer him a new deal, which could complicate things. But the fact that Leeds are being linked shows that they're monitoring experienced, attack-minded options who can make an immediate impact. Wilson himself is said to be interested in a move to Leeds, which is significant. He's a player who knows the league, has a proven track record in the Championship, and brings that element of directness that Leeds could benefit from, especially in the final third where, as we've discussed, creativity has been lacking. Now, whether Leeds actually pull the trigger on this deal will likely come down to the financials. Given their current PSR considerations and a preference for temporary, low-risk deals, there's every chance Leeds might explore a short-term move or even wait until the summer to get him for free. But if Fulham do secure a contract extension, that window might close quickly, so it's a case of timing and negotiation. Still, Wilson isn't the only name being floated. Another loose connection, although it's very much in the wait-and-see category, involves Manchester City's young midfielder Nico O'Reilly. The 19-year-old has caught attention after starting 2 matches for City this season and making 2 more appearances off the bench. Leeds are said to be among the clubs keeping tabs on him, along with West Ham, Burnley, and Chelsea. City, for now, have no intention of letting him leave, whether permanently or on loan, but that could change if he finds minutes hard to come by as the season progresses. Leeds could be positioning themselves to pounce if the opportunity arises, especially if they continue pushing the idea of bringing in youth players with top-level pedigree who can be integrated into a high-intensity, developmental system. That's been one of the hallmarks of Leeds' recruitment strategy in recent years, targeting young, hungry players from bigger clubs who are ready for senior minutes but can't get them where they are. But again, all of this is still speculative. We're deep in shortlist territory and nothing is concrete at this stage. What's clear is that Leeds want to be prepared. They know that January is often a window of necessity more than opportunity, and they don't want to be scrambling at the last minute to plug gaps. If the squad is to remain competitive through the second half of the season, adding depth, especially in attack, could be the difference between mid-table safety and a late-season slide. The January window could also test Leeds' resolve in keeping hold of key players. Depending on their position in the table and how injuries or form develop over the next 2 months, the club might face tough decisions. Do you cash in on someone like Meslier or Struij if a big offer comes in? Or do you keep the group together and push for stability, even if it means a tighter financial picture going into next season? These are the kinds of strategic questions the club's hierarchy will be weighing up behind the scenes. And all of this is happening against a backdrop of increasing pressure for financial reform across the Premier League. As mentioned earlier, the vote on new PSR regulations failed to reach a consensus. It was the kind of moment that could have marked a turning point for how the league governs itself financially. But instead, it showed just how deep the divisions are between the league's elite and the rest of the pack. The proposed rules were intended to bring some balance to the system, limiting clubs to spending no more than 80% of their revenue on wages, transfers, and agent fees, and tying overall spending to the revenue of the lowest-earning club in the division. But in practice, the vote collapsed under the weight of financial self-interest. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on Leeds United. And make sure to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Is he really out? Leeds fans are already buzzing with speculation as the shock news of Daniel Farke's departure ripples through Elland Road. The atmosphere is thick with rumors, and whispers of the next big move have already started circulating. According to insiders, Leeds United may not waste any time, and eyes are reportedly set on a familiar name in the Premier League, NUNO SANTO. Farke's exit has left a void, and supporters are divided between disappointment and cautious optimism. The German manager had moments of brilliance with the Whites, but inconsistency ultimately sealed his fate. Now, the rumor mill suggests Leeds' hierarchy is ready to make a bold statement with a high-profile appointment. NUNO, known for his tactical flexibility and calm demeanor, could bring a fresh vision to a team hungry for stability and European ambitions. While nothing is officially confirmed, sources close to the club hint that discussions are already underway. NUNO's experience in the Premier League, having managed Wolves with remarkable impact, makes him an attractive option for a club eager to establish itself firmly in the top flight. Fans are imagining the possible lineups, the tactical shifts, and the new style that could come with his arrival. Will Leeds embrace a more defensive solidity, or will NUNO unleash attacking flair to thrill the crowd at Elland Road? The speculation alone is enough to set social media ablaze. Of course, in true football fashion, caution is advised. Rumors are just that, rumors. But in the case of Leeds United, the timing feels almost too perfect for coincidence. With the club already seeking a new direction and the Premier League season approaching, appointing a seasoned manager like NUNO SANTO could be the turning point they crave. As the city buzzes with anticipation, one thing is certain. Leeds fans will be watching every development, every hint, and every insider leak with bated breath. The next chapter at Elland Road promises to be nothing short of dramatic, and if the whispers are true, the Whites could be on the brink of a bold new era. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep getting exclusive news about Leeds United, be sure to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to reading your comments and opinions. See you in the next video, Leeds fans.